So Lana off Smallville dumps her dweeb boyfriend called Scotty at his own graduation, and who totally didn't know that she'd been screwing almost every boy at school, including a baldy Matthew Damon. So his best mate Cooper tells him to stop sending digital love letters to some German bloke called Mike, and instead come party tonight to celebrate never having to go back to school again, yo. And at said party, they meet up with loser twins Jamie and Jenny, who are bizarrely totally opposite and also seem to know nothing at all about each other. Just like how I didn't know that my twin brother was on Love Island one time, until my mum texted me asking why are you caked in lube and demonstrating godless sex positions on ITV2.
That's a great question. I've been wondering that myself.
Anyway, Scotty's night soon goes from bad to worse, after getting dumped earlier and now having the entire party sing a hilarious song about how his girlfriend's been shagging Jason Bourne behind his back for the best part of a year.
Scotty doesn't know. Oh, Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
Hey, that's fucked up.
Cooper though's having a great time, to be fair, having found a small hot tub to chillax in, whilst manipulating a local female retard to totally molest her own breast, in the hopes of wiping off a non-existent smudge on her boob. Though it don't really work in real life, because my mate Pervy Pete tried that once, and now he's barred from centre parks and sleeps in a Travelodge bath. Naturally, Scotty then comes home drunk and depressed, and tells that Mike fella to sod off and stop sending him flirty messages about wanting to meet up IRL, and shut up about it already, cause he ain't no homo, yo.
Listen to me. I am not gay.
The next morning, some ginger scrote what happens to be his little bro just laughs in his face when he tells him that Mike is totally a girl and he's been pronouncing the name Mika wrong all along. No! So he and Coop say fuck it and totally head off to Berlin to go apologise in person, and hopefully nail her in the poopenschaft right good and proper.
The back door was always an option.
But unfortunately board the wrong plane and just end up crashing a pub full of football hooligans, and also Vinnie Jones for some reason, over in London.
Okay.
Luckily, they pretend to be loyal Man U supporters and eventually end up getting sloshed and transported against their will over to Paris, where they once again meet up with the world's worst twins who are out here on a European vacation or some shit. Turns out a love-struck Jenny is proper bummed that Cooper doesn't see her as a girl, and instead it's just one of the guys with longer hair and slightly bigger man boobs by the looks of it. But before she can correct him, Scotty gets in a robotic dance-off with a street-performing surrender monkey. And the obnoxious Yankee traveller soon starts doing what American tourists do best, and aggravating the local natives with their insufferable competitive arrogance and relentless egotistical need to be totally better than everyone else. Anyway, after convincing the twins to come with them on this utterly mental Eurotrip, or given it's the last summer they'll all be together now they graduated from their state-mandated educational institutions, Jenny gets seduced by some rando at a train station, whilst Jamie gets shamelessly molested by a creepy immigrant on public transport. And before you can say, well, I'd say it sounds like current day London, but these fuckers don't even apologise after straight up graping ladies in broad daylight these days.
No. Scusi. What?
Big tunnel.
The gang try to cheer themselves up by visiting the local nudie beach, but just end up seeing more raw sausage than at a Greg's Bakery factory tour. Unfortunately for geeky Jamie, who keeps banging on about his travel guiding hero Arthur Frommer, the only bit of pussy round here turns out to be smoking hot teeny sis. Who's promptly chased away from having a quiet relaxing time on the beach by a horde of sexually frustrated ugly men. Which does actually sound like current day Europe, to be fair. Later, Scotty wonders what it would be like to eventually meet up with his pen pal and finally get balls deep in a German bird, only to wake up once again being manhandled by a foreign immigrant who thinks he can somehow get away with uninvited sexual advances on the Deutsche Bahn. Which, as my Uncle Gil can attest to, when he said only if I can return the favour after being asked by the Eurostar waitress if he wanted a double cream pie with his coffee, you most certainly cannot.
Right to jail, right away.
Anyway, now over in Amsterdam, Cooper gets sodomised by Xena the Warrior Dominatrix, as Jenny and Scott get high on brownies despite them containing zero hash, whilst Jamie practices his multitasking skills by getting sucked off and also mugged at the same time.
Nice.
Now totally broke after Jamie was too distracted and prioritised splooging into a foreigner's mouth over protecting the gang's savings and running away from his own mugging, the group flagged down a passing truck in the hopes of hitchhiking to Berlin, but just end up in the most economically deprived and aesthetically depressing city on earth.
Oh shit, not good.
Luckily, A man called Tibor tells them that it ain't actually Detroit, Michigan they've ended up in, but in fact someplace called Bratislava, where it turns out $1.83 can get them all a 5-star hotel room and fine dining experience.
Now that's what I'm talking about!
The gang then head out for a night on the town, where Jenny runs into that random train chap who then once again goes full Leonardo DiCaprio by trying to seduce a teenage girl half his age.
Dirty bastard.
Luckily, he turns out to be married and a total wrong'un, whilst they all proceed to get totally gazeboed on some new hardcore brand of absinthe called Green Fairy, which is so powerful, it lets two siblings overcome their natural innate revulsion to inappropriate sexual relations, and so proceed to blindly suck each other's faces off.
Disgusting!
Naturally, they're totally horrified when they come back to their senses, and just can't believe they went full Ilhan Omar and engaged in ungodly relations.
Damn!
That Titor fella then gives them a ride into proper Berlin, where Scotty hopes to finally meet up with his super cute pen pal, who he psychotically travelled across continents to relentlessly track down. But unfortunately, she's already left for college, and will only be in Rome visiting the Vatican for a short time before heading to school. So, totally ignoring a white supremacist midget sibling kid bizarrely goose-stepping in the background, they head over to the Pope's gaff and use their dorky mate's encyclopedic knowledge of architecture and history to totally blag their way inside as a tour guide. And whilst he's off giving tours for shits and giggles and absolutely zero compensation at the end of it, Scotty and Coop break away to try and find his lederhosen lass, but just can't resist ringing a giant bell and also pissing about in the Pope's chambers, which just leads them to accidentally announcing that the current Pope fella has totally pegged it and even sets his bloody hat on fire for good measure. The whitish smoke of which just informs the people down below that a new Pope has already been selected, who smacks up innocent French robots and totally hangs about with shamelessly incestuous siblings.
Fucking unreal.
And soon spotting Mika in the crowd, he heads down to introduce himself, and she just can't believe her pen pal's come all this way to greet her and also become Pope because reasons. Luckily, she seems to love desperate virgin stalkers who ruthlessly tracks her down across continents, cause that's like super romantic, bro. And soon rewards him with a hot and steamy fuckfest in a small confession booth. And before you can say, well I guess that brings a whole new meaning to Holy Communion, Jamie gets hired by his hero Arthur Frommer, who was coincidentally on that impromptu tour he gave earlier, to go around Europe documenting all its remaining cathedrals and churches. Which will probably be a quick and easy trip to be fair, now almost every church all over Europe seems to have spontaneously combusted, with barely any media coverage or anyone at all giving a damn. And we end with Jenny taking a page out of Mika's book by giving Cooper a reward himself, and totally shagging him in a small plain toilet and promptly joining the Mile High Club, whilst Mika and Scotty just end up as roommates in college together.
Oh, how convenient!
And that's it, that's the movie. Though my favourite part, well, aside from the behind the scene clips appearing to show the director teaching a prepubescent kid how to freaking goose step like a Nazi, was Cooper constantly using the same classic excuse to get out of every awkward situation.
Holy cow! Oh, this isn't where I parked my car.
Hey, this isn't where I parked my car.
Hey, this isn't where I parked my car. This is definitely where I parked my car.
Which does seem to work out most of the time to be fair, but just not when you're caught crawling out of your ex's dog flap with your trousers round your ankles at 2 in the morning. But anyway, that's a plot and that's a lot. Considering that bell thing so you don't miss any future recaps. Tell me if you like this flick in the comments if you have time, and I'll deceptively try and clean up teenage titties before absconding to Europe to escape the fuzz, but just get a dose of karma by being molested by a mustachioed creep on a train with you in the next one.